Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
It is episode number 66. Good to be with you here as we're on the back half of the month of April. Man, before you know it, we will be flipping the switch to May in Indianapolis. Oh, what a wonderful month it is. Usually gets warmer, not always. But we usually will start talking racing and warmer weather and kids out of school and summer around the corner. And so we're getting there. We're starting to turn the corner. Hard to kind of believe that after the start of the week that we had. A couple of things I wanted to bring up before we get to the main part of today's episode. First, did have some severe weather last week. Last Wednesday, of course, if you remember, we were under at one point, a moderate risk for severe weather down in southwestern parts of the state, much of central Indiana under an enhanced risk for severe weather. That ended up changing by Wednesday afternoon because of how the day played out. There was still plenty of ingredients, but the one thing that we lacked was any significant instability to make for a more widespread severe weather event. A lot of cloud cover, decent amount of rain during the late morning and early afternoon. Probably saved our backside a little bit. Probably could have been a little bit worse off. But we still had some issues. We did get a confirmed tornado in central Indiana. This was near the town of Millhouse in Decatur County. So that's just south of Greensburg. Rated an EF0, no injuries. Max width was 25 feet, I believe is what that is in. Estimated peak winds were at 84 miles per hour, and it was on the ground for about 1/10 of a mile. Wasn't on the ground very long. The summary from the assessment from the Weather Service: only damage was to a lean-to roof and wall on the east side of a farm outbuilding. This section was demolished with debris thrown to the north and northwest. A small horse trailer was picked up and thrown to the north side of County Road 800 South. There were no scour or drag marks visible in the ground from where the trailer originally sat. A 2x4 was driven into the ground about 20 yards north of the damaged building. Sheet metal roofing and wood were thrown between 200 and 400 yards to the north and northwest. No other damage was found in the area. There was reports of power lines around that area down. There were several wind reports near Terre Haute. Late report of a large tree falling into Terre Haute Humane Society, causing significant damages, no injuries. 20 displaced dogs were all uninjured. Looks like we had in Martin County a late repeat of a few trees down in Shoals. Also some wind damage at Monroe Reservoir. 80 mile per hour straight line winds caused major structural damage to a large western part of the boat docks and awning near the northwest portion of the Indiana Route 446 causeway. Let's see, thunderstorm wind damage at the Rural King, 65 mile per hour winds there. It was fairly minor. We actually had one of our reporters there that Thursday morning. Didn't look major. In fact, they were open for business Thursday morning at the Rural King in Bedford. Late report of a 70 mile per hour wind gust pushing a mobile home off its foundation. This was in Jennings County, 1 mile west of Country Squire. Nearby trees fell into homes, both 171 Country Squire Boulevard and the intersection of Country Manor Street and Foxmore Drive. Trees also down from Hayden to north of North Verdon. Those were time estimated on the report. You can find those at weather.gov/IND. It's the top thing on their news headline. So check that out. So that was one thing. The other was what happened. So I'm saying yesterday, what happened on Monday, the 18th. And that was a late season snowmaker. And yes, we did pick up accumulating snow, 1.6 inches of snow officially at the Indianapolis airport. That is a daily record for the 18th. It also goes with ties for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. Ties for 11th, latest snowfall on record if you go back to the earliest records, which date back to 1872. But I mentioned this, and if you were watching Daybreak at all, the records look a little bit different because we really went back to the early 40s, because you get before that some of the snow reports are a little unreliable. So if you take out, say from 1942 on to the late 1800s, it actually ranks the third latest, tied for the third latest. One of the latest on record, many of you will remember, and we've brought this up before, 1989 on the 6th of May, they had a 0.2 of an inch of snowfall. If you remember, that was the opening day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and they had to actually delay, I believe, if I remember correctly, rookie orientation that day because of the snow falling in the morning. They didn't completely cancel it, but they had to delay at least cars getting on the track until the afternoon because of how cold it was. Last year was also a late one. If you factor in taking out some of the earlier records and you go back to the early 40s, it was second alone latest snowfall on record. We picked up 2 inches of snowfall on the 20th of last year for the latest snowfall. So it can happen, but we're kind of, and again, this is good news for many of you summer and spring lovers here. We're starting to get into more rare territory of getting measurable snowfall this time of year. So that's good news. What's also interesting about yesterday's snow. So 1.6 inches of snowfall. We picked up more snow yesterday, just in one April day, than we picked up for the months of November, December of 2021, and February and March combined. So that's pretty impressive. You combine all 4 of those months, you're just over 1.1 inches of snowfall. January obviously was a big one. We had that one big snowmaker. We picked up 13 inches and some change for the month of January. But so now we sit at about 15.5 inches of snow for the entire year, and basically for the entire snow season as well, since we only picked up a trace for the month of November and December. So pretty interesting statistics there. Hopefully that was our last snow. We will see if we have any of those weird cool downs in the extended forecast coming up at the end of the podcast. So today I got a good one for you. We delayed it because of the severe weather chances last week, but I did want to introduce you to our brand new teammate here at Wish TV and Storm Track 8. Great meteorologist, very good young talent, and we are so excited to have him. You've probably seen him on the air at least a few times. He's made it through the last couple of weekends, and you will be seeing him more, helping to kind of fill in as some of us take time off here and there and all that. So he'll kind of be all over the place, but we're really excited to talk to our new meteorologist. His name is Ryan Morse. He's my guest here next on Weather Weekly.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
It is episode number 66 of Weather Weekly. Good to be with you for the week of April 18th. We've been kind of putting this off the past couple of weeks because it's been severe weather, but we wanted to introduce you to our newest meteorologist here at Storm Track 8. We're so excited to have him. You may have seen him on the air already. He's been doing the past couple of weekends. I know you've been kind of helping out during the evenings with the Chief, Ashley Brown as well. Ryan Morse, welcome to Wish TV.
What a grand entrance.
Right. We need the background applause. Yes, golf clap. Good to have you, though, man. How have you been enjoying your time the past? You've been here, what, 2-3 weeks now?
I think 2.5 weeks now.
2.5?
Yeah.
So you've been getting a little gauge of at least Indianapolis a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. And of course, we already had the severe weather last week.
Man.
So,
baptism by fire. We don't want to try to make it easy and it wasn't just the severe weather. We had severe weather last week. We had a daily snowfall record yesterday. What was it? Would you say the second snowiest day that we've had so far for the season?
Yeah, second snowiest day of the 2021-2022 season. So
that's exciting.
Had it all.
I don't know if that's exciting or if that shows how pathetic this snow year has been. But anyway, it's good to have you. You've been trying out some pretty good restaurants.
Oh yeah. Everything on Mass Ave I've been kind of making slowly up and down.
What's tops on your list so far?
I think the Eagle restaurant.
The chicken. And the honey dipping sauce.
Mac and cheese. Unbelievable.
Dude, the side there, money too. So good. There's so many good places just on Mass Ave alone, but you venture out of there in downtown, man, they got some good stuff. Then you got to go up to like Broad Ripple, and then you got to kind of branch out to some other places, like in some of this, like Carmel's got good, like you will never run out of places to eat.
I haven't checked out outside Mass Ave, so I probably have to head up to Broad Ripple too.
I mean, I've lived here for, minus the like 10 years that I lived away from central Indiana. I've been here for 30, and I'm nowhere even close to putting a dent in all of the restaurants in Indianapolis. It's incredible. All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself. First off, where are you from? And what got you interested in being a meteorologist?
Yeah, so I'm from outside the Boston area. Okay. And I grew up with a bunch of snowstorms called nor'easters.
Which they're dealing with like now, right?
Yeah, right now they're dealing with one. But yeah, that really got me into weather. I was the kid who always woke up for the morning news and was like, all right, we're going to have our school day canceled today because I love snow days.
Right.
So I was like, wake up, all right, and just locked into the weather for a couple hours. And then I'd say what else got me into meteorology is Hurricane Katrina back in the day with Jim Cantori.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Cantori was my idol, just sitting there with the hoodie on, just taking wind in the face. I always wanted to be like that, so that was my main driver, and I ran around the neighborhood dressed in the same Jim Cantori hoodie, interviewing neighbors. Thought I was insane.
Do we have video of this?
I know we have plenty of pictures. We have plenty of pictures.
We may need to share those on social media.
Yeah, and then it'd be anything as ridiculous as like a branch would fall from the tree, and I would just sit there and report and act like it was the biggest thing ever.
Breaking news. That's awesome. I love it. That's great. So you got started just kind of watching Weather Channel, watching your local news coverage. So you knew pretty early on then that this is something you wanted to dive into.
Yeah, like most meteorologists, I'd say like a good majority of us know before you're even 10, like you want to do the weather, and that it's a rare profession where you just kind of know right away. It's very weird, but
did you know that you wanted to go, because maybe you didn't know early on, but as you got older, you knew there was probably different routes you could go. You could work for the government, and work for the Weather Service. You could go work for some private industry, like for oil companies or something like that, or what we're doing, which is on the broadcast side. You were leaning more toward that.
Growing up, like at least before I was 10, I was like, I want to be a broadcast meteorologist. There's nothing else, but it takes a little bit of confidence. Like you need a couple practice runs, like throughout, like your internships, all that. So I wasn't really sure until I gained my confidence through internships I was going to be on air. But yeah, meteorology has like endless amount of jobs. Everyone thinks of the broadcast roles, but specifically where I went to school at Penn State, only about 5 to 10% of people who graduate come out and do the broadcast side. Wow. So it's a lot. So what I studied in college also, in addition to broadcast, is energy industry, stuff like that.
Sure.
So that was my other pathway if the broadcast part didn't work out.
Well, and let's stick with that. So you ended up, going to Penn State. Mm-hmm. I guess first, what kind of made you decide that? And Penn State is an awesome meteorology school, which I'm shocked that such a low percentage actually went broadcast, because I know several that actually did go to Penn State. You're one of them. Mm-hmm. Some are a little bit closer to my age, but and it was on my radar, no pun intended, but it was also that's a big school. Yeah. So what made you want to go to Happy Valley? Like what intrigued you about Penn State?
Well, oddly enough, even though only 5 to 10% of graduates come out in the broadcast industry, I think it's like 1 in every 4 broadcast meteorologists is from Penn State. So it's a big broadcast program. And also, besides being a massive meteorology program, it's the dominant one, at least in the Northeast.
Sure.
That still has like a football program, basketball. Like, it's not one of those smaller, there's a couple smaller like Division III schools that have broadcast programs, but I was all about the sports, and I was besides going to this awesome program, I could go watch football, I could go watch basketball, Big Ten. Yeah. Like, I'd rather spend my college experience doing that.
Tell me about a Saturday night at Happy Valley there.
Well, while I was there,
in the fall.
Yeah, so obviously they had all the football sanctions. That was before me.
Okay.
But when I was there, the whiteout and all that craziness, I was there for when we took down Ohio State. That was the greatest thing ever. So, like, I was there for kind of the resurgence of Penn State football, which
That's
I
fun.
wouldn't give anything for, because it was just so unexpected. You're expecting to go like 6-6 for football, and next thing you know, you're Big Ten champs. Yeah. It's the coolest time.
That's awesome. All right, so you were talking about kind of gaining that confidence. What kind of things did you have? Did you have like a student-run broadcast, and what kind of stuff did you, like equipment and stuff like that, did you have there?
Yeah, so we had a campus weather service program. Okay. And you could sign up to be on air and stuff like that. Okay. So I did that from freshman to senior year. So I did all 4 years of just getting up there. You wouldn't get there every like week as a freshman. So like freshman, sophomore, you'd go maybe once a month doing your forecast. But that was really nerve-wracking for me, because your professors would just be sitting right there. Yeah. And you're just professors, like 5 to 10 classmates, and you're like, oh boy, like those, especially the professors, they're intimidating. You don't want to get anything wrong in front of them. Sure. So like rattling out all the information in front of them eventually gave my confidence, especially.
Well, I mean, that's like, coming to a new station, like you came here, or starting at your first station, or just in TV in general. It's like you're gonna have new bodies that are that are sitting there watching you. It's something that you kind of come accustomed to. I'd assume that over the years while you were there, you were familiar with the surroundings, the people that were always around you, and you just felt probably more at home and more at ease.
Yeah, eventually, because you become friends with some of these people, so it becomes a little bit easier. And then when I moved on to my internship, that was a whole new level of like scary. We're doing this green screen practice. Yeah. And the newsroom I was at, I had an internship in Boston. Okay. The news studio, the sales department, everything, the whole newsroom was behind the set. So they could all hear and see exactly what you were doing. So back then I was just terrified.
You think they're just sitting there back and like, who is this kid?
I was almost whispering into the camera, just like, oh my gosh, I don't want all these people to, like, that's 50 people sitting there watching. So that was an adjustment for sure.
That's a good experience there for you, though. I mean, like, there's not a lot of newsrooms that are like that anymore. That used to be a popular thing back in the day, where you had like the whole newsroom behind the studio kind of thing. Thankfully, now everybody wants to be more fancy and lots of monitors and everything like that. So us, like here at Wish TV, we're kind of secluded in our own little bubble back in the studio. So so you did your internship. I'm assuming it was probably a station that you were very familiar with. Talk about your internship where you were at in Boston.
Yeah, so I was interned at Boston 25. Okay. I grew up watching that station, and I happened to just reach out, send an email to the chief meteorologist, and he happens to be living in my hometown. Yeah. So he got back to me. He's like, hey, we would love to have you on for a summer. I was just kind of in shock. Like I really didn't think that was going to happen. Like reaching out to the one station and then getting an immediate response.
Sure.
And then I worked the entire summer. I shadowed the morning meteorologist. So I wasn't up at the early morning hours. I know you wake up at.
But they didn't make you. Come on, you got to have the full morning experience if you're going to intern. Jeez.
More than just the back half. I show up at like 6 a.m., I think.
That's still pretty early. For a college kid, that's still pretty early.
It was, especially with Boston traffic.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit early.
Is their station located downtown?
It's on the outskirts.
Okay.
But it was still. We're going to sit in traffic probably for a good half hour, so I still had to leave early at least.
So you probably would have been better off working at 4 a.m. Then you didn't have to fight as much traffic.
Exactly. Actually, probably looking back, that would have been a little bit better.
That is my favorite part of getting, because there's not a lot of favorite things I have at getting up at 1 a.m. Mm-hmm. My favorite part is I'm the only one on the road.
It's a ghost town.
Absolutely. If I have to come in, like, I've worked your shifts, filling in from time to time on the weekend evenings, and, there's no rush hour really, but it's like I'm driving in at 2 in the afternoon. I'm like, who are all these people? Get out of my way. Like I like a 2 a.m. drive where it's me and like 3 semis that are heading to some
Only
warehouse.
the trucks. That's the only thing you see.
That's right. Okay, so you did your internship. You graduate from Penn State. What's your next step? Where did you end up going?
So I graduated in the pandemic year. And so that was just everything off the table.
Right.
Kind of scary. You're coming out into the world like, do we have any jobs? Are people hiring? And I literally just sat in my apartment the entire pandemic, just applying for jobs. Happened to get one in Green Bay, which I was thrilled.
Sure.
Because Green Bay, I'm thinking sports town.
Oh yeah,
it's got all 4 seasons.
Yes,
I was really excited. Like, hey, I get to still forecast winter, summer, spring, everything, fall. We get severe weather. You get the forecast of snow. So that was my main goal, because some of the markets that I was looking at, it's like, hey, we're probably just forecasting sunshine 90% of the time.
Right.
So that was good. That at least I started there.
So tell me, okay, before I get to Green Bay, because I have my own set of questions, but you led me down this path. What was the interview process like in the heart of the pandemic?
It was so weird. So mainly Zoom, and I didn't fly out to the station because of the pandemic, so it was mainly just Zoom. Multiple rounds of interviews on Zoom, and that was basically it.
So the first time, I'm assuming, that you ever saw the station was your
just
first day of work.
Yep, just show up and just go. So I did the 18-hour drive across the country, and we just did it. And we showed up, and it was like, we're here. We just got to figure it out, even though it's a pandemic. It was kind of shut down when I showed up.
Sure.
It was tough to get furniture and stuff like that, but
I bet.
It was very weird.
Man, I'm like trying to think of, like, you're trying to find an apartment. You're trying to find
all online.
And everybody's, everything
online.
Never even thought about that. Wow. Well, I guess the good news is like you can only go up from there, right?
Yeah.
Like things got to get better from there. Okay, so talk about your experiences in Green Bay and while you were there. I mean, obviously, if people haven't been to Green Bay, the first thing I talked to, I've had Stephanie on the podcast. I've had Tara. Both are Green Bay veterans, and talked a little bit about the weather. So everybody thinks snow, basically, right?
Yeah, everyone thinks snow, but very odd. We don't really get as much snow. I mean, me growing up in the Boston area, we average more snowfall than Green Bay. Green Bay, I would just say, just think cold. It's just cold. The winter's brutal. When we get to that winter time, you get wind chills all the way down there. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough for those couple months. But yeah, it's not as much snow as people think.
Well, does the winter seem longer?
Yeah, it seems longer for sure.
Well, and I guess it's all in perspective because, we say snow, but you're from Boston.
Yeah.
And you get slammed with nor'easters annually, maybe multiple times in a year. So you're used to a whole lot more snow in the Boston area than we are here in Indianapolis. So it's kind of all relative. Is there one weather event that sticks out in your mind that you're like, whoa, like you're never going to forget that weather event?
In Boston or in Green Bay?
Well, we can do both. Let's do Green Bay first, and then we can go to Boston.
I'd say in Green Bay, similar to here, not as much, but I had that similar trial by fire moment.
Yeah.
My first Saturday there by myself.
And you're working weekend nights.
Nights.
Right? Okay.
By myself. Tornado warnings. And I could not believe it because those were the only tornado warnings the whole year. And it just came during
your shift.
My first shift ever by myself. So that trial by fire moment was probably the most memorable in Green Bay.
Was that a confirmed tornado, or was it just a kind of a rogue warning?
Well, it's kind of weird that it's so there's this lake called Lake Winnebago.
Okay.
And I guess it's a small enough lake. 3 tornadoes were all confirmed, but they were all EF0s over the lake.
No kidding.
And I guess we found this out with the National Weather Service that the tornadoes were considered tornadoes even though they were water spouts on Lake Winnebago, just because the lake was so small, they still considered it a tornado. So I had never heard that from the National Weather Service, but we had, basically there were 3 water spouts.
Interesting.
Some barely came on shore, but the others, so it was kind of interesting to hear the National Weather Service explain, like, actually these are tornadoes, even though just because the lake's so small.
What do you remember how long you were on air, by chance?
It wasn't long. It was only like
a brief cut.
Yeah, it was only, I think, it was only a couple minutes, but still, just to me being...
Seemed like an eternity?
It's like, are you kidding me? I barely know these counties, and I'm next
thing you know... Well, they got some unique names in Wisconsin,
too. It was out of nowhere, just right into it.
It's the one thing I told Ryan when he first started here. I'm like, I know that you had a bunch of unique pronunciations in Wisconsin. Think the opposite of that here in Indiana. If it looks fancy, it's not. It's not going to be fancy, all right? Like... I went to a high school in northwestern Delaware County. And the town name is Gaston. We had a former meteorologist here. We were doing severe weather coverage, and they were like, and this rotation's going by Gaston. And I'm like, I can assure you, if you've ever been through Gaston, there's nothing fancy enough to qualify it to call it Gaston. It's just Gaston. It's exactly how it looks. So, all right. So, first weekend on the job, you get a tornado warning. What's the most memorable storm that you remember growing up in Boston? Because I'm sure you've had several.
Yeah, we've had a couple blizzards, but I forget. I think it's 2015. I just know because the Weather Channel called it Winter Storm Nemo.
Okay.
But it was a storm that dropped multiple feet at my house, and that whole winter was kind of nuts because we had a couple blizzards, and it was to the point, at least in my hometown of Franklin, we had, I think, a snow depth of, I want to say 4 feet.
Oh.
So it was to the point, we had like a higher deck in my backyard.
Yeah.
We could jump off the deck and just like land in the snow. It was so fun. So you could just like jump and do any sled trick.
Oh, man.
That was an insane time because I think we had school canceled for, I want to say, like 3 or 4 days. It was just nuts.
Wow.
Yeah. That was probably my most memorable, I think.
What's interesting, you say that. If we would have gotten 4 feet of snow, and I guess this kind of goes to show the differences here. If we would have gotten 4 feet of snow, that would have been a record. Mm-hmm. It would have shattered a record because the benchmark here is the blizzard of 1978. If you ever want to look up something of interest here in central Indiana, that's like you ask anybody that has lived here a long time, that's the benchmark snowstorm for central Indiana. It shut down basically the entire state for over a week. I mean, they had to bring in the National Guard and there's all this other stuff. And I don't think it came anywhere near 4 feet. Now, there were snow drifts that went beyond that because I remember my mom telling me they lived in a large 2-story house and the drifts went all the way up to the 2nd-story window. They could actually sled out of their 2nd-story window. But if you're talking in accumulations of 4 feet of snow, we'd be shut down for a week, if not more. Because where's that snow going to go? And so it goes to show that Boston probably can handle that kind of snow because you guys get big snows more often than we do here. That's pretty crazy.
It was just so weird, too, because I think it came in 2 feet and I want to say probably 2.5 feet in a 1.5 foot storm.
Wow.
But there was...
Like back to back.
Really, I think there was probably like 2 or 3 weeks and the snow didn't melt and it just came.
Just piled up.
Yeah, so it was very strange because usually you get those big snowstorms, but then like a good chunk of it melts, but just stuck around for pretty much the whole winter. It was very weird.
We had some similar to that. Trying to remember off the top of my head the date. I think it would have been around 2012. What ended up being one of the snowiest winters I think it was actually the snowiest winter on record in Indianapolis, and it was like top 5 coldest, because what you ended up getting was you had a couple of big snow events, maybe like when I say big, nothing like what you're talking about, maybe half a foot to a foot. You had a few of those, but it seemed like almost every weekend you got nickeled and dimed with these clippers that would come in. And I believe this was the polar vortex year kind of thing. Yeah. So if you remember that was like the big national story. You'd get 2 to 5 inches though every weekend, followed by this just ridiculous amount of cold. And the problem that came with it was you had a snowpack basically stretching from the Yukon all the way to the Midwest. So none of that air had a chance to modify. It stayed as cold, from the Arctic as it did here. So you ended up getting, air temperatures that wouldn't get above 0, and you had wind chills that were like 40 to 50 below. And that was an every weekend thing. Gosh. And it went on almost the entire winter.
Oh, God.
People were just done. People were done.
What year was this? Because I think I heard about this winter in Green Bay. Now
it's either 2011 or 2012. It was early in the decade. If you look it up, it was rough though. It was not a good run, because like I said, it was just you just never really got to take a breath. It was just you got hammered with snow, and then it got really, really cold, and by the time you started trying to warm things up, it was just in time to supply just enough moisture to this clipper that was coming down to squeeze out another, 2 to 4, 3 to 6, and it just kept adding up. And then just like what you mentioned, it got so cold that the snow never had a chance to melt, and just it stuck around. And I think I wasn't living here at the time, but we were kind of on the front end of it in Peoria, Illinois, and I want to say we had snow well into late March and early April. It was a winter that would never die. It just wouldn't stop. Because I kept saying on air, I'm like, okay, this has got to come to an end at some point. Like spring eventually arrives. And here comes April, and it's not coming. It's like we're getting into May, and I think it took a while for it to warm up, and then finally you turn the corner eventually. But yeah, but nothing like that. I mean, that's an incredible amount of snow. So what's some weather phenomena, like bucket list? What would you love to see if you had the opportunity? Like if we say Al, our boss, says, hey, this X, Y, and Z phenomena is coming. Do you want to go? Like what's on your bucket list?
So oddly enough, I've never actually seen a tornado.
No kidding.
Because Massachusetts doesn't usually get them. Pennsylvania and State College, it's kind of shielded in a valley-ish. Right. So we don't really see many tornadoes in the middle of the state. Green Bay, one of the jobs I had during severe weather was I'd take like our storm tracker mobile. And there's a couple times I came close and was just a little late, and I would show up and then there'd be some damage. Okay. But yeah, I would love to just see an actual tornado. I think I've seen a funnel at least, but not like confirmed on the ground. Obviously, hopefully not near anyone, but like in the middle of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, that'd be good. Mine is the only, I think, weather phenomena I have yet to see is a hurricane.
Yeah.
If my boss came and said, hey, we're going to send you down to the Gulf Coast, there's a big hurricane coming, like what you said, I want to be Cantori. I mean, I've got the hairstyle for it, because I've seen just about everything else. I was blessed enough to go on a storm chase trip in college. I've talked about it on the podcast. Very successful. The station covered it. We ended up seeing like a total of 21 tornadoes. That was going into my senior year of college, and that just kind of like set the groundwork for, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. I've been through a dust storm.
Oh, wow.
A lot of the phenomenon that you can see, I got on that storm chase trip. Yeah. Got a big dust storm out in like the panhandle of Texas, like right on the New Mexico, Texas line. That was wild because this is a big wall of dust.
Yeah.
And then been through some pretty nasty hail cores. I think the largest we saw was baseball. And we've had that a couple of times here in Indiana. It's not I won't go as far to say is rare, but it's not common either. You can get some pretty healthy size. But it was so much so that the hail cores were, when you looked up in the cloud, it had like an aqua blue tint to it. And our professor was like, you see that? Yeah. That's a big hail core. That's right above you. And you don't necessarily know if it's large hail or if it's just a whole lot of hail, because sometimes radar is going to pick up one way or the other. It's hard to tell. But you know that there's something there, and we should probably get out before we damage our university-owned vans. And then we saw, like I said, we saw the tornadoes and that kind of stuff. Been through a blizzard once. Obviously, you've been through several. Been through a pretty crippling ice storm. Rather not do that again.
Yeah, ice is tough.
Yeah, that's bad. It was bad news. Flooding I've been through. I lived along a river valley, so I saw like a historic flood there. That was pretty interesting. I think hurricanes like the last standing thing that's like, that would be cool to see.
Yeah, hurricanes... I've seen tropical storms, at least, and get up to New England, but usually they're so quickly moving through the area, it's not like the full impact of what we see in like the Gulf states.
Sure. Now, you may have been too young and you may have been too far north. Was Sandy any much of an impact to you guys?
Sandy's wind field was massive.
Sure.
So we still had the winds from it, but it wasn't nowhere near the impacts, of course, of like New Jersey and Long Island and those areas. So, we didn't really see the big impacts from that, but we had a couple of tropical storms just barely leak up there, and some of the pictures I have of me being Jim Cantori are with those tropical storms, with me like holding a piece of paper that says Tropical Storm Hannah.
Yeah.
I think Hannah's the one in 2008. I have one of just that's the one that always makes the rounds, at least in my family, as a joke.
We're going to need to reach out to the folks and try to see if we can get this circulated on social media somehow. They listen to this if they're going to listen to this podcast, you can reach me, marcus.bailey@witchtv.com. I'd be happy to get those to the people that would be interested in sharing for promotional purposes.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
I think it's awesome. I mean, there's a VHS tape that shows my age. There's a VHS tape of me standing in front of the TV when Stan Wood, legendary Maine weather meteorologist guy here at Wish TV, back in I think he ended up retiring in like the early 90s. So I remember him in the 80s when I was a kid. Doing severe weather, and I've got my little clip-on tie and my little gray sports coat that I had like my first communion in, whatever. And I'm sitting there, trying to do Mr. Weather. I'm probably not even saying the right towns, definitely not saying the right counties. I'm probably saying Muncie, and then maybe like the little towns around Muncie, like Yorktown and all this other stuff that had nothing to do with any of the severe weather was going on. That's somewhere.
It's somewhere. We'll have to dig it all out. We'll have to dig everyone's out.
We'll just have to compare and contrast, right? So what are you looking forward to being in Indianapolis?
I think living back in the city, people don't realize Green Bay is a little bit smaller. Sure. Doesn't really have the big city, but I really enjoy sports for one.
You came to the right town, my man. So
I'm ready to... I didn't even know about like the Indianapolis Indians, Indy 11, so all that stuff I'm really interested in. And I'm living in the heart of the city, so that's really cool. I get to walk everywhere, which I really enjoy. So those are my main favorite things so far.
Have you been brave enough to try an e-scooter yet?
No, I've seen people whipping around on those things. Multiple people trying to fit on one. It's pretty funny.
So let me tell you from experience, first of all, those things can book it.
Yeah.
Right? I go to many Colts games, and me being the cheapskate that I am, I figured that I would try to save on parking, and I was working weekend mornings before I moved to weekdays. And so I'd work Sunday morning. I'm done by 10 a.m. That's perfect, right? All the tailgate lots are opening up. Restaurants are opening up. I'm already well through my day. It's lunchtime for me at that point. So I'm like, I will just leave my car here and I'll take a scooter down to the stadium, and that way I don't have to pay the $20 to park. I'm only paying like probably $5 for the scooter ride, whatever. I'm saving myself money. So when I decided to do this, it was like at the tail end of the season. So we're getting in like around Christmas and early January, but there were still some nice days. Like, I'm like, whatever, I've got some warmer clothes. We'll be fine. all good, except for when you get downtown. I don't know why I forgot this, but there's a lot of shaded areas in those bike lanes that a lot of the scooter people, because you're not technically supposed to be on the sidewalks. People do it anyway. But I was trying to be a good law-abiding citizen and staying in the bike lane. And you're getting in shaded areas when you get downtown because of the taller buildings. And then didn't pay attention, but there was large chunks of ice as I'm going like full bore, trying to just make good time, meet up with my buddies, getting ready to go to the game. I'm starving. I'll tell you though, what was really impressive, and there was people, I got a standing ovation from a lot of the people. They saw what was about to happen. And this is me, full speed, right down the bike lane. And there was just like this massive amount of ice. All right, like unavoidable. And if I'm hitting it, I'm going down. There is no way that I'm not making my way over this patch of ice. And in a very, and I know when you look at me, you think athletic specimen. I'm kidding. You can laugh at that. That's totally fine. You're allowed to laugh at that. In a just like moment of sheer either fear or athletic ability, I like jump and start like jogging at the pace that I was riding at. The e-scooter makes a very violent crash over the ice, and I just kind of jog it off.
That's pretty good. Pretty good maneuver.
And people were like, nicely done. We thought that was going to get ugly. And I waved for a little bit. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Picked up my scooter and went about my business. But
the scooter was fine.
It was. I didn't really look. It was still drivable. I didn't feel any weird vibrations. Although I was like, my heart was racing, so I just wanted to be done with it. I wanted to get away from that area because I'm sure people were like, they were very nice clapping, but then they were probably like that idiot.
well, at least that's good to know. At least I won't be in that situation where I'm doing weekend mornings and then going to the games.
Right.
But yeah, I'll keep that in mind because that seems like a perfect, like a logical thing I would do. So take the scooter from the station in the winter.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Your confidence goes up too because you're like, oh man, I can handle this. This is great. You're on a real busy area too. Like they buzz around you like bees on Mass Ave.
Yeah, they go flying by.
Right.
I've seen people flying down the streets.
Right.
It's kind of surprising.
They are fun though. They're fun. So, good. I'm glad you're able to explain. And the best part is, you mentioned you love sports. You wait. Give it a couple weeks, man. The month of May, even if you're not a diehard race fan, it will make you a race fan.
Yeah.
I promise you. One trip out to that place, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you're going to be like, you're just going to be like, have you had a chance to drive out there yet, I guess?
No. Not at all yet.
Okay. So it's on the west side, like far, far west side. Don't walk there.
No scooter rides.
Don't scooter ride out there either. All right. But it's very hard to describe to someone how massive that place is, especially being that it is within city limits.
Yeah.
It is in a neighborhood. You're going to look and you're going to be like, there's houses, then there it is. This massive grandstands that just surround 2.5 mile oval. So it's kind of hard to comprehend, but I highly recommend. I know it's weird, like race day, all of us working, it's hard for us to get out there on race day. But if you can sneak out there even for maybe a couple hours for qualifications, they'll do qualifying the weekend before the race. The race is always the Sunday before Memorial Day. Do it. Do it. Because one, you get to experience how large that place is. And two, if you've never seen oval racing with Indy cars, it's very hard to comprehend, visually with me telling you how fast 229 miles per hour down a front stretch is.
Crazy.
It's a blast. It's fun.
Well, I have a favorable view of the Indy 500. I don't know if I've told you this, but as a kid, I actually did my state fair project on Indiana.
Really?
I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. Okay. But I wrote this letter to all these places in Indiana, including the Pacers, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I think Notre Dame. Okay. But Indy 500, Indianapolis Motor Speedway sent me this gigantic bin of all these trading cards, like everything you could think of. I obviously they're probably like, oh, this fourth grader.
Sure.
But yeah, they sent me this gigantic bin of all this Indy 500 stuff. Same thing with the Pacers.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I can't wait to see like some of these places actually. But it's kind of crazy how it traced back to me in my childhood. And they sent me all this cool stuff. So I'm excited to get out there.
Oh yeah. Well, and then if you ever get a chance too, the museum there is outstanding. They got a lot of the, they always put the last year's race winner car in there, but they've got cars from the beginning of time for IMS. It's got such a rich history, as you'll come to find out, and recommend you going on. The station will do a tour probably in the next couple of weeks because they want to show you around because you'll get a media pass. Everybody here gets a media pass.
Really?
Which gets you in. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
See now I love it because the podcast, we're talking shop now. So I'm telling him stuff that he's just now finding out. But yeah, everybody gets like a media pass and, you will, get the opportunity. Somebody from sports will walk you through and kind of show you around. Basically, they don't give you kind of a historical perspective. They kind of show you where you need to go in the event of this. If you were going to do live weather out there, this is where you would probably go. This is where the media center is. This is where they have an infield hospital for if someone actually gets into an accident and you need to go out there. But what I recommend you do, because it's always a good photo op, last thing you're there is you'll be down in the pits. Go kiss the bricks. I know it sounds really dirty, but that is a must. That's a must.
That's a signature.
That is I will post that on my profile every May. I got that done when I first moved back here. I had a full head of hair. I look nothing like the guy that's doing it, but I post it every year. So yeah, but you're here at the right time. So if people want to reach out to you on social media, how can they find you?
On Facebook and on Twitter. I am Ryan Morse WX.
Okay.
So those are the spots. Instagram, Ryan Morse Weather.
Yep.
Any of those three. I'm on them all the time.
There you
obviously,
go.
Posting our weather information.
And they can find you on the TV when?
TV, so 6, 10, and 11 on the weekend. Okay. And then I do breakout segments like I kind of did yesterday on how late our snowfall was.
Right.
It's brutal, obviously.
Right.
But usually I do those Monday and Tuesday, 5 and 6 o'clock shows.
Monday and Tuesday. All right. And filling in because we all have a lot of vacation time to burn off. So, yeah.
That's right. Vacation.
It's coming, man. We're not gonna throw you under the bus like right out of the gate, but I mean, it's not like a tornado warning on your first weekend.
Yeah, as long as we don't get that, which we didn't. So.
Right. All right. Ryan Morse, check him out. He is our brand new member here at Wish TV and Storm Track 8. We're excited to have him. We'll have more next here on Weather Weekly. Here's a look at your extended forecast for the week of April 18th, 2022. After a very chilly start into the week, we start to bounce back closer to average by midweek. Here for your Wednesday afternoon, cloudy, some scattered showers returning by the afternoon and evening. Should have a high around 60. I think we're even warmer still Thursday as a warm front lifts to the north, and we should push close to 70 heading into your Thursday afternoon. Just some spotty rain chances, and with that warm front kind of hanging around on Friday, some scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible, and highs in the mid-70s the weekend. The weekend looks awesome here coming up on Saturday. We're going to go from snow on Monday to how about sunshine and highs near 80 for Saturday afternoon. Maybe just a touch cooler Sunday. Most of the day should be dry, highs in the mid-70s. We may see some rain chances sliding in here late Sunday night and then heading into Monday. We will get a bit of a cool down next week. That's the 25th and beyond. Highs in the mid and upper 60s for Monday, and it does appear by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the extended that you're looking at numbers into the lower 60s. So that's going to be slightly kind of below average here, and that goes along with kind of the 8 to 14 day outlook, which will take you into May 2nd. There is a very strong signal that we're looking below average for temperatures. And once we get into the start of May, your average high should be into the mid and for some upper 60s. So running a little bit cooler, it looks like, than normal for the beginning or the first couple of days, at least, for the month of May. it is not time for the May outlook just yet. By next week's podcast, we'll be able to have that for you. It does look below average in terms of precipitation over the next 8 to 14 days, but over the 6 to 10 day period above average with several rain opportunities coming our way. And we mentioned those Wednesday, possibly some on Thursday, some scattered stuff on Friday, and then another round Sunday into Monday. So again, keeping an eye on that. As it appears right now, no severe weather is expected, at least in that time frame. We will keep you updated. My thanks to Ryan Morse. Good to have him aboard. Another great teammate here for us at Wish TV and Storm Track 8, and looking forward to some great things from him in the years to come here in Indianapolis. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, concerns, topics that you may want to hear. Shoot me an email, marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. You can also find me on social media, Marcus Bailey Weather on Facebook and Instagram, and at Marcus Bailey on Twitter. And while you're here checking out some podcasts, make sure to check out my other teammates' podcast here. There are good stuff, good episodes to check out. It's all part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. We'll talk to you next week.
Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com, and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.